a moon lander built by Houston-based aerospace company Intuitive Machines, launched from Florida early on Thursday on a mission to conduct the first U.S. lunar touchdown in more than a half-century and the first by a privately owned spacecraft. The company's Nova C lander, dubbed Odysseus, lifted off a two-stage Falcon 9 rocket flown by Elon Musk SpaceX from NASA's Kennedy Space Center in Cape Canaveral. A 25-story rocket roaring off the launch pad and streaking into the dark sky over Florida's Atlantic coast, trailed by a fiery yellowish plume of exhaust. About 48 minutes after launch, the six-legged lander was shown being released from Falcon 9's upper stage, about 139 miles above Earth and drifting away on its voyage to the moon. Moments later, mission operations in Houston received its first radio signals from Odysseus, as the lander began an automated process of powering on its systems and orienting itself in space. The IM-1 flight is carrying 6 NASA payloads of instruments designed to gather data about the lunar environment ahead of NASA's planned return of astronauts to the moon later this decade. The flight would represent the first controlled descent to the lunar surface by a U.S. spacecraft since the final Apollo crewed moon mission in 1972, and the first by a private company. NASA announced last month that it was delaying its target date for a first crewed Artemis moon landing from 2025 to late 2026, while China has said it was aiming for 2030. Small landers such as Nova C are expected to get there first, carrying instruments to closely survey the lunar landscape, its resources and potential hazards. Odysseus will focus on space weather interactions with the moon's surface, radio astronomy, precision landing technologies and navigation. Intuitive Machines' IM-2 mission is scheduled to land at the lunar South Pole in 2024, followed by an IM-3 mission later in the year with several small rovers. Last month, Japan became the 5th country to place a lander on the moon, with its space agency JAXA achieving an unusually precise pinpoint touchdown of its slim probe last month. Last year, India became the 4th nation to land on the moon, after Russia failed in an attempt the same month. The United States, the former Soviet Union, and China are the only other countries that have carried out successful soft lunar touchdowns. China scored a world first in 2019 by achieving the first landing on the far side of the moon.